Okay, it's 9:30. Just done that. Right, let me just get off this. That was what? That got blocked. Truth, basically. Okay. Alright, here we go. It is the 12th of 12th, 2019, and sent an email to public servant in what's known as digital format. NHS.UK. Anything ending with NHS.net is NHS Digital Limited Company. Right, let me just go back to see if this email that I tried to send got sent to another individual. 9:30. At least it got to one, so let me just put that down. Didn't get to another public servant. If you don't know the truth about trust law. Right. Anybody out there in England doesn't know already, and it's worth checking out on company check dun&bradstreet.co.uk. Right, let me just write this. I'm making some notes, so bear with me. I don't use this channel that much. Friday 13th, for all things, you'll wake up with the Conservatives again. If you don't wake up Conservative so-called government, well, let's just say there's going to be an awakening for change. It's not always for the better, because it's all about business and commerce. And it's the people hold the real power. But unfortunately, we don't really live in a democracy anymore. I should know that first-hand knowledge. So many disabled people out there. Every town and city has what's called a partnership, joined up companies, public funded companies. And in one's area, it's the company limited liability partnership means these men and women, I'm just giving an example of the NHS. It's been sold already. And it's Obamacare, old system of USA Obamacare, coming already, assistance being sold off. You think we're going to leave England from the EU, although people would like and require that, they'll think again. Well, try and do some research if you want to know more. It's all about AI, computerized systems, and unfortunately, let me just cut this off a minute while I was trying to record. This got sent to access to data at 9:30, same email. 12th of the 12th, 2019, 9:30. Right, I'm going to read out in a minute. I'm not going to show this for personal reasons. Everything is business. It's not personal, but it seems personal when everything is offers of contracts, goods and services, public funded or private funded. If you look at the truth about the birth certificate, anybody out there that doesn't already know this knowledge, study the basics and look at websites or videos, or even go online and look at videos. John Harris, It's an Illusion, Straw Man, Veronica Chapman. Just watch some basic information, and it's nothing to do with the free man movement at all. It's all to do with the public, the man and woman, well, the Crown Corporation really. Crown Corporation, City of London, in history to date, business and commerce. That's what it's about really. And by putting X on the box or putting a mark on a piece of paper today doesn't give you think there is a democracy, an assumption there is. But when you find out these mainstream political parties are limited companies, and you go dig further, they're all set up companies house. Anything in statute law you think of a government, nationally or locally, in England, Scotland, or Wales, is set up as businesses, even age concern. And I could not believe when I found this out. So I've done some research years ago. I still have the printouts. But what I went down the rabbit holes and come out and found some more information never stops. But what really matters is what's available. And it's about learning natural health. It's about learning the truth before the censorship, even more with social media and internet like they're doing in China. Facial recognition, putting a chip in your brain now, not just in your hand. And they're rolling out that in Ireland, seeing social media reports about that. And then you got so many subjects of 5G rolling out, and it's more than that because there's great people getting information out various formats and trying to take on these men and women, especially the CEOs in the job role, as the public servant paid by the public to work for them. But the tables are turning. There's more support and more statutory documentation being implemented to restrict the freedoms and of the lawful rights of the living man or woman. And the technology advances, as I say, it's unbelievable that we're being targeted and just labelled, and we're just a number on a computer screen. There's a leaflet going out to individuals. Oh, you can see a GP now by video link, but that's not like a physical examination. So it makes you wonder, when you're trying to access your data as well. Well, that's been unlawfully, if you're not careful and you realise this information about to read out. So I'm just gonna. I was shocked. I'm not surprised, but I was shocked. So hence I'm trying to get corrections amended on personal data, which is your lawful right. When you look at the statute law in your data, everything is now data mining. Every bit of information is sellable. Where does it end up? And do you care? The facts and truth is out there. We just make a note of what I've just done. So when you think like a foundation trust or health care or whatever title they have, and a trust at the end of it, is actually LLP. Is a limited company. They work in partnership with a company, and this area in England covers about 3 or 4 counties, and they have their in-house lawyers. But the computer software company called Capita PLC, well, it's a group, and they have subsections of the corporation and other subsections bouncing off that. And one is set up to run all of these claimed to be local governments, software, computers, and now also the contracts with nationally with Department of Works and Pensions, who unlawfully, its policies is cruel. documentation of statute law, acts and statutes, as I said, go and research. Bionica Chapman, and she is just one of many that will explain the common law definitions, statutory acts, regulations, and you need your consent. So put in a box, an X on a box or piece of paper, ballot box, whatever, ballot piece of paper. It gives you're giving away your authority, your power of attorney, your consent to these individuals. And government is by consent. Sometimes you're not in a position, personal situation, wherever it may be, you're relying on the state for offer goods and services. So it's learning how to accept conditionally under duress and how to sign without liability offers of these non-full disclosure contracts of goods and services. And B.C is when you look into the Latin wording, what it means in front of your normal signature or autograph, your normal signature. It's paramount to know this, because if you end up in excuse me, let's keep this stream short. Excuse me. There's too many assumptions being made by men and women. As soon as they get in the career ladder and get in a certain job position, they've got to think about their careers and their pensions and promotions. But when they're inputting information on computer systems and making decisions about disabled people and your loved ones, and perhaps you got children and you're falling in hard times, because the financial system is absolutely just that. It's your sweat equity and your signature on the documentation, and it's all online now anyway. Today I've had that example, and I notice the input is incorrect. To amend assumptions, presumptions is and rebuttals or fact. Been doing that for a while, but this just when one knows certain information, then you just be careful, because then you just get labelled even more and targeted and blocked to what you need in your personal life. And if you're not in a position to be self-sufficient and healthy, you don't have perhaps family support network around you, for whatever reason. There are so many people, unbelievably, in terrible conditions, not just in England, but I'm observing in my area. And it's a dark side of the darkness around, dark energy, I would say. But the light always triumphs over the darkness in a way. And what is important is health, safety, and your equality, meant to be. But they're trying to get away with the human rights, your natural and animal rights you're born with. And if you don't know the truth about Magna Carta, and as I said, look at the videos by John Harris. He passed away now, years ago, but his website's archived. The information is out there, videos out there, other people are learning and sharing about trust, law and equity. I do not ever believe one should pay for the knowledge, because if you're struggling already, you don't have the fiat currency. So when you know about the gold standards Act 1933 or 32, how did that come about before I was born? And when you learn about the Bills of Exchange Act 1883, or is it 1884, promissory notes, well, you know, there isn't any value of fiat currency. And this is where the digital technology is coming. And obviously, I'm not expert in that at all. Don't know much about it really. And then you've got your signature on these documentations. It's always worth backing everything up by email, paper, or if you, goodness me, need to make a call, just to let them know that you are recording a call as a reference, really, for personal use. Because people are distracted with Christmas, New Year, all that going on, the weather as well. You're not prepared for the unrest coming allegedly soon, if not already behind the scenes happening, because whatever result ends up today and later on this evening, tomorrow, just remember who you are. The people hold the real power. Social media, from that I'm aware of people, great information they're sharing of a mass remedy, of a global jury, of common law. I can see what they're trying to do, but also I can see both sides of it all. But this machine, financially, going back in history to banking elites and Rothschilds, it won't change. It's too deep rooted and sewn up, and the individuals in my area, I'm very aware who they are and their history and their connections. I won't mention public, it's their business. But you get to know things over the years. And if I had my health the way I would like it, I wouldn't be in England. No disrespect to being British, but I'll be learning to live off grid with like-minded people. But I'm not in that physical situation. I need to go, keep this short. Time's getting on for me now. Almost 10 o'clock in UK time. So whatever your reactions may be, and the struggles you're having and still are, to just try and exist on this earth, just remember when you hear those birds singing, you see a bit of beauty about naturally. We're all trying to get on in this messed up world. I tell you, I only know too well in other areas I won't go into. For now, I have certain individuals like banging the doors. For now, I'll keep this short to get to rest and just sort what I need to do. So may I wish you best to have, and powers that be, I had to keep hacking into my devices at the moment. Not a joke, because the anniversary date of what happened to me many years ago is tomorrow. It is hard when you're constantly being labelled by the system, but that's all it is a label. But it's difficult when these men and women are meant to work for the public and they get things wrong. And one input incorrectly on the computer system messes up everything, and then you're left to get the truth, corrections, facts out firsthand, which I've already done. But still, that most probably doesn't matter by the system, because it's a financial machine turning around. So all I'm trying to do myself in other areas is access data, which has been awfully blocked. Oh, I was going to read out that document. And there's only one generic email being used, and when you know of a certain, like your own data, subject access, GDPR, and that's been going on for weeks trying to access my GDPR. And they have an office based in Kettering, but also they're run by LGSS, and that's a law. LGSS law is a limited company too. And it's their public law public law lawyer, and I know who they are. So anyway, I was just going to get out of that and show you the document of that. So company house information on Northamptonshire Healthcare Foundation Trust LLP. Right, company house information. Limited liability partnership. They're stated because this foundation trust is absolutely set up as a limited liability partnership. The partnership number is OC423348. And when you look through the document, it's got Northampton GP and Community Alliance LLP, and it's got claimed to be medical practices. There's about 1, 2, and the claim to be the corporate body is Northamptonshire Healthcare Foundation Trust and a corporate national health service, and they call it Statute Act 2006, and there's not a dedicated individual public servant. But I did some research and I found out in this 10-page document links to other information, and I could copy that in an email. So then when you do some more research and you're counterclaiming, trying to get your further data, I got blocked to my data, medical data. So when you want, for example, you do a certain information in trust law, a certain individual, you find out who the 4 directors are of that company I just mentioned. Well, it's not a medical practice. It's absolutely a limited partnership company. The number I've got 217640787. I'm the data controller employee of that company. Well, one of the directors has blocked all my medical data, dated Tuesday the 19th of 11, 2019. So on the 20th, which was the Thursday, my rebuttal on counterclaim to access my data. And this individual, she's a GMC member, General Counsel. GMC in England, all sorts of limited companies or business. And all of my previous 1 year, over 8 months old. So when you try and take the matter to the Information Commissioner, and their head office in Cheshire in England also set up as a company. It's all business. It's all profit. So the failures to follow their own due process for anyone, similar situation. And when you do a full rebuttal of assumptions made and send the company house documentation, it's causing extreme disadvantage and direct discrimination. Because when you think a solution by another company, you may be offered services in the medical home delivery service, for example, and you thought, well, if you're signing for the offer of services condition address, you could sign for medical records. Well, it proved to be null and void. They'd completely blocked, and then they just go into character assassination. and making up assumptions about your private dwelling, your private life. So you have a lawful right to have that data corrected. And my goodness, did I do that? I think there was, how many points? 20 points on Wednesday. And this individual failed to get back. And she now needs to be reported to the GMC. But again, there won't be remedy. So again, when you report the breach of your medical data, especially, you see, you find out they're all limited companies. And then it goes deeper than that, the truth. So this one's email was at 9:30 sent that day, so counterclaim back. And that's when you study certain information to the unlawful blocking of your medical data. It's crucial to get the right facts. As I said, people inputting information incorrectly about oneself can have serious consequences, and they need to be accountable. And this individual, she's the managing director of the company I just mentioned about. For now, it's important because presumptions again being made about oneself, and the truth is important. So it doesn't matter who you're voting for. You're not voting for anyone. You don't give away your authority to any man or woman. And these men and women are in it for themselves. Sorry to say that. But just go and research these information and trust law and equity. But the basics, just watch the videos. John Harris, It's an Illusion. And as I said, Fiona Chapman and statute law and common law. Just basic information if you don't know what I'm talking about. I've had years of studying this. And I'm coming out with that. So good luck, because when you find this evidence out and you're trying to access your data and to restrict, you have a lawful right, by the way, to restrict your data, restriction on data sharing, because that's what it's about now, finance, digital age, isn't it? Your data. So then you have, I'm going to quote this, Ministry of Justice. There isn't any justice. It's a limited company and they use maritime law. So if you don't know, Franco Collins, just Google that or search that or videos and research maritime law, because Ministry of Justice in Petty France head office in London, all the courts are courts de jure, and they're using maritime law, law of the sea, and it's to do with if you accept liability to be the surety of the trust name of the Crown Corporation birth certificate. That's where the Bar Association members, lawyers, judges, etc., will push on there. You go across the bar, look at the design in Google Earth, all these buildings, the shape of a ship. You wouldn't believe that. You can investigate it if you want. And it's like in the docks. And these people that explain about maritime law, administrative law, there's no presence. There's no, where does a maritime law could say it's all commerce, business? So the living man or woman is seen as a surety for that alleged debt. So they want to dip in to that trust that's set up by the Crown at your life birth, that your mum or dad never knew. I never knew when I was young, and I never knew when I had my children, that signing a piece of paper and birth certificate was traded on the stock market, and every time it's given your signature away, consent to these corporations and their agents, employees, to dip into that trust account set up at the live birth. And until you make a live life claim or claim that you're alive and living, and that's a complicated process because you do need your physical health and to be self-sufficient and not lean on any state system offer services to be able to do that. And I, so far, have not come across any information of that one is able to do that without relying on the benefit of a service in the public sector run by the public purse, council tax. How does it run? As I said, there's no real monetary system in existence. It's all by your signature, and as I said, by trust and equity. Yeah, that's boils down to it all. So while we're physically on this assistance on Earth, I need to go. Tom's getting on. I need to rest. I'm tired. And I don't know. Just remember, anyone out there, it's up to you. The people, do your own research and try to help each other. If you can't, if you haven't got any support network, just keep strong and keep on trying. Each breath you take is another day, another hour, isn't it? They ramp it up for me from tomorrow again onwards. Don't forget that. I'm still surviving this shit. Excuse my bluntness. The BS I've been struggling with. And I would have gonna edit this afterwards to put over 18 only, because of this, the way YouTube is now, isn't it? So yeah, you got the Ministry of Justice, and in that you have a division called Social Chamber. And if you didn't know, that Social Chamber has a division called HM Courts and Tribunals Services. And if you didn't know, that was a corporation, has its CEO as well. Within that, you have another company called CICA Limited, Criminal Injuries Compensation, and that is in Glasgow. And there is a CEO to that as well, female. And yet, years ago, many moons ago, and offer a contract, I didn't know this, obviously. No, there isn't any kind of public servant and services that keeps the matter open for 8 years, ever. So when you look at also the Oath of Alliance, so I say look at Bionica Chapman, Oath of Alliance, 18, I'm not quite sure of the date, Oath of Alliance. All these men and women in the administrative upper appeals or lower chamber, high court, or any court, they have to swear Oath of Alliance to the Queen. And it's a bit like these public servants of police. They have to swear an oath as well, and they have to carry warrant cards on them. And now it's called Crime and Police Commissioners. They are set up as companies too. So I was surprised to find all this out. But when I sent my full notice of opportunity to cure and rebuttals by certain individuals making up untruths about myself individually, 2 individuals back in June this year has been behind it, are making up assumptions again, say you rebut it, you do all so much, and it's like a vicious circle, because you got these public funded companies and their agents for their corporations. The public pays their wages, public servants, and yet they protect each other locally, nationally. So it doesn't matter. Well, it does, but in a way, it doesn't matter what you try and do to show the truths. They will stick together like glue. And this is where it's important for people power. If you still believe in democracy and have faith and trust in the system, well, good luck to you. It's your opinion. You're entitled to it. I'm not being down and gloomy on this fact, but the point is, you need to educate yourself and your loved ones, because we're living in trying times. I know, for example, the assumptions about my private life by effects of what happened to me all those years ago. I survived horrific taught onto my personal self, and I know now what's behind all that to date. But I don't need another label. That's just what they need for business and profit. But be careful how certain individuals club together, protect their knowledge. Knowledge is free once it's out there, and how you use it to empower yourself, but be honourable and lawful. And that's all I ever do. Trouble is, they keep targeting me and labelling me and blocking everything, and they're doing this because there's an agenda, not just me. There's thousands of people like me throughout England, and there's other subjects I won't touch here today that I'm aware of what's happening worldwide. But God bless. Take care. What they say, tomorrow's another day. It's, as I said, Ministry of Justice, the Social Chamber. You've got this male called David. He's meant to be a judge back in June. He failed to act upon his oath of office, and that's oath of alliance. But anyway, we'll see. Whatever you believe in, we're trying to seek justice, what goes on. And as I said, my documents, 8th of the 11th, 2019, was delivered and sent by recorded post lawfully and honourably to rebut. And so, no doubt, they're going to send presumption. And look at the word order in Legalese, Black's Law Dictionary, 5th of 4th. I better go now. I need to get some rest. But God bless. Thank you for listening. Take care. Signing out. UK.